is Gary Wilson, and welcome to this week's live investor agent webinar. And also for all those of you who are in flipping for profits, flipping for profits without the risk, rental profits without the pain, wholesaling so everybody wins, and turning rental problems into real estate profits. We've had a number of you actually express a lot of interest in property management. It actually came up again today in class, ironically. So we'll talk more about that coming. We did talk about that a few weeks ago. We're actually going to roll that program out probably in, I'm going to guess April, could be June. Every year we rolled out the programs individually to our existing student base, because you guys all, of course, get it for half price. But we just do it every couple months. It's not for everybody, it's for people who have a strong interest in that subject, obviously. And when you see the value of it, it's a tremendous profit center. It's also a huge lead source. In any case, welcome aboard to everyone, all the new students, all the veteran students, no matter where you are in the US or Canada or the Caribbean, welcome aboard. If you're new, you'll notice that by default, you are in mute mode, and that's, of course, by design, because we can't have everybody live online at the same time. It is live, though, and I will unmute you from time to time. Generally speaking, though, you're going to use your question box to type in questions as I go through the material, and I'll answer them in the order I get them. And for the most part, we're pretty good at getting to all the questions. Every now and then, I'll get an email from somebody saying they typed one at the very end. We just didn't catch it. Maybe there's a lag in how the questions are presented to me. I'm not sure, but in any case, we get to all of them. It's unscripted, unfiltered, so we talk about anything and everything. You choose the subject. So one couple of important factors here, guys. If there's something you do want to speak specifically about, if you could let me know ahead of time, within a few days, I'll prepare for that subject in detail, because that's what we do in these webinars. We dive into the subjects in great detail. And I'll introduce the tonight's subject here in a second, but a few more things. The next day after the live event, you do get a recording. Some of you are not live, so you'll have to just watch the recording or listen to it. Always look at the email that Beverly sends, because she provides a lot of information in there. Updates to the systems, updates to the content, things you need to know, scheduling updates, okay? And also announcements. So one of the announcements coming up is, obviously, about the big event we're putting on in March in Orlando. So we'll probably have a lot of people there from, of course, from Florida, but also the Northeast, the Midwest. I already know a few people from the West Coast are coming, and some folks from Canada, thank goodness, because if you're up in the northern part of the US or Canada, it's you're probably ready to put your coat away and your shovel and come on down to Florida and have some fun, do some golfing, go to Disney World. But more importantly, we're going to learn a lot. We're going to tie everything together at these events. Everything's going to make sense for you. This is what you've been asking for the last 2 years, some of you for 3 years. Is there something we can do to tie all the pieces and parts together? And the answer is yes. And it's this event, 3 days long, solid learning and networking. So come prepared to meet people from all over the US and Canada, agents and investors. Hand out your cards, meet people, determine it is what you need. If you're an investor, this is your chance to meet these agents that are trained to work with you firsthand, okay? We're going to have some fun. It's St. Patty's Day weekend, March 16th, 17th, 18th at the Omni Champions Gate, which is just south of Disney. They have shuttle service to and from Disney. They've waived their resort fees completely. Parking's like only $5 a day, and they cut a full third off of their room rate. And you saw in your emails, it was an early bird special. I think you've got till midnight tomorrow to do that and save yourself 20%. In any case, we do have a couple of guest speakers. Ryan Snow's coming. You've heard of him before. He's written a couple of books. He's getting ready to publish another one. He did one with Hal Elrod, Mornings for Salespeople. But also the big announcement is, looks like Rock Thomas is coming to speak to us on Saturday, St. Patty's Day, 17th. Of course, he's an international speaker and writer and coach. He's worked with all the big ones, T. Harv Eker, Tony Robbins. He's worked with all of them, and he owns his own real estate company. He invests and he has a group called M1, which means March to a Million. This is where we train people how to get to their first $1 million. And of course, it heavily involves real estate. Some of you are in that group right now, on this call right now. So all of you are going to be introduced to it. And I love the group. I've coached them on a couple of occasions. I'm training some of them right now. Actually, some of you I'm training currently. So it's an awesome group. A lot of those guys have gone on to multiple 7 figures. Have become champions in what we call the Go Abundance Mastermind group. All of you are able to do that eventually once you achieve a net worth of $1 million and eventually 5 million. And it's wonderful to have you guys participate in things like this. So in any case, he's going to be there. Awesome time. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward here and get into tonight's subject. Last week, we went over the basics, the school report or area report if you're in Canada, how to use your postal service, whether it's Canada Post or U.S. Postal Service, to further target your marketing, and why and how we use our Planning Commission websites to validate everything that we're doing up to this point, the area search and so forth, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to get more descriptive tonight. I'm going to get into definitions of the different areas, A, B, and C areas, okay? That's the most foundational part of how you achieve a respectable ROI, okay? And then we're going to introduce some tools you can use, some online tools you can use to find properties in your area, whether you're in the U.S. or Canada, specifically bank-owned properties. Yes, they're still out there, all right, in both U.S. and Canada. And if we have time at the end, I don't know that we'll get to it, but I'm going to go over a technique I've used to get properties from local banks, okay? Your bank right down the street. I'll give you the actual script to use, okay? So, but let's jump into it first. Let's get into the data, and then we'll move into the tools. And all along, I'll be checking for questions. So let me go ahead and open up your question box just to get ready for that. Sometimes I've actually got to close out the question box so I have room to see what I'm seeing on my screen. Okay, I think I might have seen another question here. Okay, Tom Slaterbeck. Hey, Tom. Frank and I worked out the numbers on both parties are good. Looking forward to our transaction. Awesome. That is excellent news. Let's see. Daryl, please mention about some people are looking for roommates. Would people like to share? Oh, hey, yeah, for everybody here, male and female, if you would like to share the room costs, okay, at the conference we're having in Orlando in March, please go to the community site and post that on the community site. And if you see somebody you want to partner with on sharing a room, that'll cut your cost. That'll cut your room cost in half right there. My gosh, now you can do it for like $100 a night for 3 nights. That's pretty good. But that way you guys can communicate and coordinate with each other to cut your costs. I do that myself, to be honest with you. Even today, I stay in some pretty nice hotels. But when I go to conferences, like Go Abundance events, we're all millionaires, and I still share a room. It's not just about saving a couple $100, which you do. And by the way, you will learn when you build wealth to still be frugal. It doesn't mean you're cheap. It means you're smart with your money. But more importantly, it's all about the networking and meeting other people. When you spend time with them, all right, you're going to learn a lot from each other. So Daryl, thanks for bringing it up to my attention. So please communicate with each other through the community site. Also, if you're an active member, you also have access to the Association of Investor Agents. It's on Facebook. You can find it there. You should be able to be a member there automatically if you're a current or past student. You can communicate through that vehicle too. Thanks, Sarah, for bringing it up, man. Look forward to seeing you there. Okay, first things first. How do we maximize the probability of earning more of an ROI, a higher ROI, okay? There actually is a method to the madness, okay? So let's just go ahead and jump into it. We first have to determine what type of neighborhoods we want to operate in. And we generally categorize these as A, B, and C neighborhoods. Okay, A, B, C neighborhoods. A neighborhoods are generally your affluent neighborhoods. That's just how we define them. In most parts of North America, that's 500,000 and above, but it varies. I mean, in Manhattan, there's zip codes in Manhattan where the median or average home price is $6 million. There's other parts of North America where it's 2 million, like parts of San Francisco, for example. Toronto is $1 million, right? So in any case, that would be an A neighborhood for Toronto, $1 million. You know, 500,000 in Toronto would be sort of the B area, all right? You won't find much below that, quite frankly. In any case, so we're going to just broadly define these and go into some further details, right? So A, B, and C neighborhoods. Let's go ahead and look at some further definitions. All right, A neighborhoods, again, generally are 500,000 and above, but every area is different, so everything's relative. And all you really do is you can if you don't have access to MLS, if you're not an agent, just Google, you know, average home price in your area. You can also use a tool, and please write this down, called citydata.com, CITY data, DATA.com. Okay, and I've used it in US and Canada, and you can find out everything you want about that city or town. Okay, they give you the average home price, the percentage of people renting, so forth and so on. Now, here's why we need to know this information. If we're flipping homes, we probably want to flip homes in A or B neighborhoods. Now, let me further refine that. In an A neighborhood, you don't want to be at the top end where you're flipping homes. You can do that. I'm not saying you can't do it and not make money. It's just your odds are going to be not in your favor. It's going to take you longer to find inventory and to sell the inventory because, quite frankly, there's less inventory and there's fewer people that can buy that inventory. If you can be on the low end of the A range, that's better, okay, because there's more people who can afford those properties. You can also find more properties, more people and more properties. The sweet spot is actually the B areas. This is, quite frankly, the middle class areas. You know, these are your properties where if you look at a bell curve of home ownership, home buying and home selling, in the peak of the bell curve, the most common transaction, these are the B neighborhoods. These are, you know, in most parts of California, that's $600,000, right? The average around the US, by the way, you know, it's been changing. It's been actually going up a lot, but it was 215. It's probably closer to 240 now. All right. In parts where I'm in Florida, in Orlando, that's just a little bit below that average or that medium. Okay. Where I live part time in Canada, out in London, Ontario, that's right now around, it's going up a lot. It's probably a little over 300,000 now. It was low 200s and went up to the high 200s. Now it's easily over 300,000. That's about 2 hours west of Toronto. Okay. In Florida, you know, I live technically in a place called Lake City, Florida. When I'm in the States, I'm never there, but they're sitting around the 115 range. Okay. Where my family is in Virginia Beach, you're probably looking at 350. Charlottesville is probably going to be around 300. Washington, D.C., 700,000, right? So in any case, B neighborhoods is mostly where we do all of our work. For flipping, we'll be in the middle to the high end of the B range. And then now let's talk about buying rentals. If we're buying rentals, we'll be in the lower end of the B range. And in the C range, we'll be in the middle and upper bands of the C range. So C range is generally going to be lower income, slightly below middle class. I'm not suggesting this. These aren't your war zones. This is not subsidized housing. These are just folks who are hard workers. They're just not making as much as other people are. They still want to own homes, and a lot of them do. Okay, but these homes are definitely on the like entry level, lower end ranges of pricing for average 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes or 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes. Okay. Now you can do rentals in these areas, and you can do flips on the higher end. So you flip on the higher end of the C range. Middle C range, though, is where we generally do all of our rental work. Okay, that's where we're going to buy our rentals. Middle C range. Lower C range, you can do that too, and I've done a bunch of them, but we do not go below that. Below that, you're definitely talking purely 100% subsidized housing, government housing, and you can do that. I know people. Robert Kiyosaki has done it, bunches of it, all right, because he likes getting that certainty of the money coming from the government that's paying for the rents. He also will know, like I know, that Freddie Mac has a wonderful loan program for people buying large apartment complexes and turn over those units to be available to subsidize housing. I don't know what the current loan package is now, but years ago, you could get a 40-year term at 3% with Freddie Mac. 40-year term, 3% for an apartment complex that's being made available to subsidize housing. Anybody can make money with that deal. Okay. So in any case, there are reasons to go into the lower ends. It's just generally speaking, it's a different mindset. Most of us are going to find our comfort range in the middle C range. And as some of you are on right now, we've been speaking recently about your properties and where they are and the challenges you're having. And in most cases, we can tie it back to the area and the type or class of property that you're in. Okay. So I'm not trying to tell you what to do here. I'm just telling you, giving you the facts so you can make better decisions when you do decide what you're going to invest in. Okay. A lot of this, by the way, translates into what we call your cap rate. Okay. Some parts of the country, you're going to have a 15% cap rate in the US. And in Canada, that's going to be almost impossible. But you do have areas in Canada where you can have 8 or 10% cap rates. In parts of the US, there's places where the cap rate is like 2 and 3%. Okay. And of course, in the higher end places like in Canada, Toronto and Vancouver, for example. Okay. The main thing you want to remember this is the area is going to typically determine the cap rate. The cap rate gives you your return, your reward, and your risk. Reward and risk. A lot of investors ignore the risk end of things. Typically, the higher the cap rate, the more risk. Okay, it's more volatile, more headaches. The lower the cap rate, fewer headaches, less volatility. It's more certain. Okay, so some investors like a higher cap rate. They're willing to take the risk. They'll even put little or no money down and do 100% financing. Whereas other investors, they don't want risk and they don't want headaches, so they'll put more money down. They'll buy more expensive properties. They'll have a lower cap rate, but they'll have fewer headaches too. So everything's relative. You just have to determine what are your motives. Do you want more cash flow or less headaches, or do you want more capital appreciation? Because when you have lower cap rates, the properties generally will appreciate more than those that have higher cap rates. Okay, it's sort of an inverse relationship. So in any case, I think I've spent enough time on the A, B, and C areas. Let me check for questions here real quick, and then we'll move forward. Okay, we're caught up on questions. Bottom line is this: A, B, and C properties is where we do our work, mostly in the B and C areas, and we avoid the war zones. And war zone, it's easy to identify, guys. When you go through a war zone, if you see cars up on blocks and you see houses boarded up, and you don't see any sign of life, nobody's out walking around, jogging, walking their dogs, those are generally your war zones. Okay. So we want you to stay away from that. Stay away from those. So just, it's just not worth the risk trying to invest in those areas. If you want to turn a neighborhood around, it can be done. I've done it before with other investors. We teamed up together to buy up properties and remodel and put them back on the market all at the same time. You can do that. It's just a speculative venture. It's risky, and it takes time, energy, and money. And generally, it's not something you want to do by yourself. So in any case, let's jump into the second part of tonight's session. All right. Generally speaking, you're either going to be working with flipping, you're going to be buying rentals, we're going to be wholesaling, or you're going to be, if you're an agent, working with folks who are flipping or buying rentals or wholesaling. Different rules of engagement for each group. We're not going to go over the rules of engagement tonight. We'll do that on another session. Maybe we'll do that on the the week of the 12th, which, so next week's webinar, by the way, is on the 5th, which is Monday. The following week is going to be on the 14th. So I'll go over that again at the end. In any case, there's some good sources of properties to get really good deals on. Typically there are your REOs. These are the bank properties that have been taken back in foreclosure. And I'll show you some sites you can use here in a minute for the state, US, and Canada. Short sales, those are properties that are not in foreclosure, but they're headed that way. There's estate sales. This is the situation where someone's passed away and the heirs want to sell the property or properties, okay? Those are the three most common sources of really good deals. There's not as many of them right now, of course, but that's going to be changing here very, very soon. There are other sources of really good properties. What about people, not just people that went into foreclosure, but people going into bankruptcy? In the case of landlord tenants, you got owners who are evicting a lot of people. So we call those the LT cases, landlord tenant cases. You can identify them in your public records. Different subject, different night. Well, if you're not sure about that, it's in your material. We can cover that in more depth in another session. But in any case, you can get good deals from landlords who are fed up with properties because they're doing too many evictions. You've also got divorce cases, all right, family division of your court records. This is all public records. People going through divorce, at some point, somebody's going to sell something, right? And you can get 2 or 3 deals out of that, number one. But number two is you can sometimes get a really good deal for a flip, okay? Or maybe the couple owned a lot of rentals, and they're like years ago with me, I was going through a divorce and I was required to sell a certain portion of my portfolio to settle the estate. Settle the divorce. Okay, so believe it or not, that happens, and that was, we're talking. I think I sold 60 or 70 properties. How'd you like to run across me back then and buy all these properties, right? Any case, let me just real quick make sure I get to this next section here, and then we're going to go into some tools you can use. Okay, let's check for questions first. So hang on one second, guys. Let's see, this one's from Dana Truman. What's up, Dana? Hope you're doing okay up there in Maine, and hopefully I'll see you in March too, man, if you can work it out. Okay, if you see Truman's real estate signs up, it is a war zone. So, well, that's okay. There's a lot of it has to do with the marketing. When you do target marketing, you can use certain techniques in language patterns and keywords and key phrases to direct your marketing to certain people, right? And getting certain responses. So in any case, I know Dana Truman wanted to go over next part tonight, which is, how can we get to the source of the properties? And for everybody who's an investor, everybody who's always wanting to get to the source of the property. So I'm going to show you 5 sources tonight, okay, in the U.S. and Canada. So these are properties that have already been taken back into foreclosure. The first one is HUD, and the thing is, guys, the cool thing is, I sold properties for HUD. I sold properties for VA, FH. I sold properties for all the biggies. Okay, I did not sell foreclosures in Canada. I didn't have a license up there, but in the States, I did that in multiple states. Okay, I have multiple licenses. I used to sell a lot of them, buy them for myself and sell them to my clients, who are, of course, investors. And I got to sell so many of them, thousands of them, that I got contacted directly from these guys to sell them from them directly. And that's what I did. So I've got a lot of good inside information on these providers. So first one, HUDHomestore.com. Okay, there it is right there. I'm going to go ahead and click into their website. So hang on one second. Here it is right here. So I'm going to reduce my panel, guys, so I can see what I'm doing. I'm not going to be able to see your questions here for a second. Okay, HUD Home Store. If you're an agent, you can register to be able to sell HUD properties, okay? It doesn't mean you're going to get the listings. At some point you might get the listings like I did. But in the beginning, you can sell the properties to any consumer, no matter who listed the property, okay? HUD listings are considered open listings, which means any agent can advertise the property without getting prior permission. You should do it as a courtesy. If you want to sell or advertise a HUD property that's listed, let's say by Truman Real Estate, if Dana's got a HUD listing, not only is he going to advertise it, but you can advertise it too. And you don't have to get his permission to do it. It's implied. When you sign on with HUD, you agreed that that's the case. It's an open listing. I was always okay with that because I figured, what the hell, guy? I'm gonna get the listing side no matter what. All right. I'm already marketing the stuff. I mean, I've got investors. If somebody else comes along and brings in a buyer, more power to them. I still get my listing side. So it's not. People get really if you're fussy about that kind of stuff. I'm like, my gosh, you're only getting the buyer 1/3 of the time, anyways. So do your marketing. If somebody else wants to advertise your property, let them have at it. Let them spend the marketing dollars, and you still get your listing side. In any case, agents are funny sometimes. I mean, I'm one myself, so I can say that. Let's check this out. Let's go use HUD real quick, and then we'll do one example for all of the tools here. All right, so I'm in Orlando. I'm going to select Florida. All right. Let's type in Orange County. It's one of the counties around there, and see what we get. There are no total homes in Orange County. Let's just do Florida and see where they are in Florida. Okay, Florida search. Okay, here we go. Let's see. All right, there's a bunch. Look at that. Just the page goes page after page after page. 10 per page. There's at least 50 that we know of, and it probably goes more than that. Let's just see what we get to last year. 9 times 10, that's 90 properties, all right? Or 92, I guess, to be exact. In any case, Lee County, guess what? I'm in Lee County right now. I'm in Fort Myers and Lee County. So if any of you are in class today and you're in the program, pay attention. In any case, here's a listing, 85 grand, Fort Myers. How'd you like to buy a house for 85 grand in Fort Myers, Florida? I mean, literally 20 minutes from the beach, near a major airport, right on the water. Good Lord, it doesn't get any better than that. So in any case, Hollywood, Florida is down on the southeast coast, Broward County, just north of Miami. We'll look at that in a second. Let's look at this one here. See what we get from HUD for 85 grand. Okay. By the way, it's open to all bidders. That's a good sign. What that means is the way HUD does things is they first open up a property only to nonprofits and government agencies. And if they don't buy it, then it goes to owner occupants. And owner occupants get to have at it for a couple of weeks. If owner occupants don't buy it, then it goes to investors. Okay. When they put in all bidders, that means anybody can buy this right now, including investors. So right now, some of you should be licking your chops. If you can get this property for 85 grand in Fort Myers, you've got yourself probably an easy rental. You can Google rental rates in Fort Myers and see what properties are renting for like this. Okay. By the way, you've got 5.5 hours left to bid if you want to do it. So as soon as the webinar is over, get a hold of your investors, right? You can get yourself a deal here. In any case, you get to see all the basic information on the property, including pictures. You get to see the addendums, all right? There's a foreclosure, it's escrow foreclosure. In any case, those are the addendums you can get. I mean, I can show you all this stuff, but basically they're going to give you a disclosure on, let me just click on this and see what it is. Probably mold, something like that. Sage acquisitions, property disclosure, blah, blah, blah. They're just talking about repairs and pest reports and all this kind of stuff. In any case, basically what they're doing is they're just doing a disclaimer saying that they have no information on anything, okay? They don't know anything. They didn't see anything. You're buying as is, where is, all right? Amenities, driveway, foundation type, it's on a slab, but we kind of figured that out just by looking at the pictures. But in any case, pretty good information, all right? Let's go look at another tool. Actually, before I do, let me just do a quick check on questions. Let's go back here. Oops. Okay, I knew we were going to get questions on this stuff. So hang on one second, guys. We got a lot of questions here. Okay, from Daryl. I created a group forum for people who may be interested in sharing a room. Oh, thanks, Daryl. Good idea. Okay, Gabriella. Is there a criteria required to register? So Gabriella, if you have an agent's license, your broker has to get what's called an NAID, okay? If you're a broker, you then would get the NAID, okay? It doesn't cost anything, it's just an application process you go through. And all of their instructions are on here. Let me just reduce the panel here. All right. I don't think we're gonna get all the information down here. Oh, here we go. HUD information. Let's see if it gives us the instructions. Agency information, HUD information. I would probably click on that. It's been a while since I've done it. And if I was back on the home screen, let's just go back there. Let's go back to the home screen. And that's probably where we're getting instructions, okay? Let's see if I see anything. HUD, there it is, NAID application. So Gabriella, there you go right there. Click on that and it gives you everything you need to know to get your NAID. And once you have that, then you or any agent working under that broker can get your register and sell HUD properties. So good question. Okay, this is from Faisal. Hey, Faisal. With HUD homes, are the first 14 days only to owner occupant, or can investors put an offer in? Yeah, generally they do 3 phases, Faisal. First, phase 1 is for nonprofits and government agencies. Usually lasts a couple weeks. Second phase is for owner occupants only. So only owner occupants or nonprofits can buy in that period. And the third period is open to all bidders, which includes investors. And then at that point, anybody can buy it, investor, owner occupant, or nonprofit. Okay, Faisal, another question. All right. Also, I have been finding out that when homes get listed through HUD Homes, Home Path, or et cetera, the properties are under contract on the first day on the market. That could be happening in your area. Now, just giving you the rules I just gave you, does that mean that people don't try to cheat? Well, I'm sure people do, but just know this. If one of your clients falsifies information, that they say, yes, I'm an owner occupant, and they fully intend to buy it as an investment, if HUD finds out, and they do check, they absolutely do, they audit, the fine is not like a small misdemeanor thing. It's a felony. You just defrauded the federal government. It's like a minimum $250,000 fine and jail time. Okay, so it's not anything you want to fool around with. In fact, when I did mine years ago, when I got to the broker's level, I would tell the agents, there actually is there's an affidavit HUD's going to give you as an agent where you say, yeah, my buyer is an owner occupant. Okay. Well, guess what? If it turns out they're not just going to go after the buyer. You're going to be in trouble too. So you definitely want to be careful. I wouldn't cheat the system. Okay. Mike Lucas, do they have multi? They sure do, Mike. I bought and sold multi-unit homes for HUD. If so, how many units? Typically anything up to 4 units, Mike. Anything beyond that is a commercial property. And these folks are just financing people like you and I, military folks, things like that. So it's going to be up to 4 units. Good question, by the way. Okay, let's do this, guys. I'm going to close this one out and go to the next one, which is Fannie Mae. So let's just type in, let's see, that was, so let's do Georgia, because I was just there when I came down from Canada right after the holidays. All right, let's see what we have in Georgia. Okay, so this is Home Path. This is Fannie Mae. 2 around Atlanta. Actually, there should be more than that. 94,000. Here's, hey, so Carell, David, Siri, all of you guys up in North Atlanta, North Georgia, there you go. Who'd like a 5-bedroom house with 3 bathrooms for 94 grand? And here it is right over here. Let's do view more. Hopefully the view more is going to work. Oh, here we go. So look at that beauty. Holy mackerel. 1,800 square feet, 94 grand, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Boy, if you can't make money on this one, you can't make money. Boy, that's a nice looking place, guys. Hey, for all of you in the Atlanta area, I hope you're paying attention. Or if, no matter where you are in US or Canada, if you got people that want to invest and like me, I don't invest anywhere now. I used to invest just in one area, but now I invest everywhere. Um, if you're looking for, this is the kind of thing you're looking for, rental, flip, boy, have at it. But look at all the stuff that's available here. This is just amazing. Hey, check it out. Who has this? Peachtree has that. So this is, I taught at that market center, by the way. Yeah. Rick Hill and Associates, Peachtree Northeast. Absolutely. I taught at that market center probably 2 years ago. In any case, they have a relationship with Fannie Mae, and you can too. Okay. Gives you a description on the property, the location of where it is. Looks like a nice little cul-de-sac area there. All the information, school information, property taxes, structure. Okay. What the rents could be if you rented it out. Around there, I'm thinking you could definitely rent that. Good Lord, definitely more than 1,200. 5 bedrooms like that, probably closer to 1,600. Man, you can definitely make money on this property. I hope you guys are paying attention. Okay, let me bring the panel back over here real quick before I go into the next tool. Okay, who's next? Okay, Carol. Okay, Mike Lucas. Can these be financed or is it all cash? No, Mike, they can be financed. Back in the big recession, because of the sheer volume of transactions, there were lenders that were saying you had to pay cash. Okay, very few though. Most of them, they recognize people have to get loans to buy these properties. I will tell you though, for everybody on this call here tonight, if you're investing, boy, cash is king. Always has been, always will in the world of business. When you offer cash on a property, they often will let you get a property for less than other offers when those other offers involve a loan. So when you're paying cash, you can basically call the shots. But Mike's question, the answer to Mike's question is yes, you can buy these properties with financing. It's a lot more. It's going to be a bigger challenge. They're really strict on things like inspections. Generally, you got to do an inspection before you make your offer, things like that, because they don't want you tying up their property for 3 months so when they get a bad inspection report, that kind of thing. They want to make sure you're absolutely qualified, okay, for the loan, like pre-approved, that kind of thing. All right. But the answer is yes, you can finance these. Okay, let's see. This is Dawn Ray. Let's see. Dawn, start at the beginning here. It's a long one. Okay, my experience with HomePath in our area is they are consistently putting homes on market at about 70% of the value that is ultimately required. Example, home listed at 319, but after investigating, found out they would accept nothing less than 370. Why do they do that? It is a huge waste of mine and my client's time. Let me just go back and make sure I got the numbers here. So home listed at 319, but after investigating, they want nothing less than 370. Yeah, they sometimes what happens is, Dawn, depending on the type of a market environment that you're in, whether it's high inventory, low inventory, that type of thing, they're always they're going to try to get us the most money that they can. So when they're in an environment where they see a lot of multiple offers and people are pushing the market by 10%, they're just going to push it. They're going to push it, like you said. What was this? Probably by 10, 50, you said 30%. So 320 to 70 to 3 cents, $50,000 spread. That's probably a 15 to 20% increase. They might not get 370. The fact they probably won't. They're going to say that. They're going to say that's what we want. And they're going to say we get other people who can make offers like that. Just always remember this. Never go beyond what your maximum allowable offer is. Don't ever cheat on that. They're going to push it. They don't care if you waste your money or not. They're going to push it. Stick to your guns, particularly if you're offering cash, and just be patient and hang in there. You often will get your offer accepted if you stick with your guns and don't give up. Just don't walk away. Just say, you know what? We're staying put. This is our offer. and don't be surprised if they call you back and try to negotiate more. They're just going to try to work. They're going to wear you out is what they're trying to do. Okay, but don't let that deter you. Okay, good question, by the way. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. Can agents sell HUD home across state lines? Cedric, you can only sell real estate in a state in which you're licensed and earn a commission. If you have a client in, say, Arizona, who wants to buy a property in Arizona, or either they're in California, they live in Orange County where you live, that they want to buy in Phoenix, you can't sell a HUD home there or any home there unless you are licensed in that state. You can't legally sell it, that is, okay? You can earn a referral fee. You can refer it to one of your fellow investor agents in the area and at least earn a referral fee on that, okay? Because you're sending them a client who's going to buy a property in their area. When you sell HUD, you have to register, give them your license ID, all kinds of stuff, and their software will block you if you try to sell a property outside the state in which you're licensed. So good question, by the way. Okay. Let's see, that was Cedric. Cedric. Oh, that was Cedric. We have two Cedrics. Well, you guys are playing tricks on me. Okay, so that's just Cedric Fernald from Orange County. I think you have another Cedric. Yes, we do. Okay, thank you very much, Cedric and Cedric. So in any case, guys, let's go ahead and, again, all kinds of great information. They tell you exactly what to do to work with them. I would tell you, you'll have an easier time getting a contract selling HUD homes than you will Fannie Mae. This is just a tough nut to crack. It just is. That's why we recommend you start with small local banks, and then work your way up to the big ones. Okay. So let's do another one. Let's do a VA because I want to get to the Canadian side here. Before 8 o'clock. So in any case, this is your VA, all right? VRM listings.vrmco. So these, of course, are our military folks who unfortunately have lost their properties in foreclosure. So what we did Florida, we did Georgia. Let's do New Jersey since we got Faisal on the line. Okay, submit. And you got a good number there. So let's see if we recognize any of these areas, Faisal. Bayville, Berlin. Yeah, Berlin's not too far from you. Check that out. 57 grand. Let's click on that right there. 1460 square feet, single family. That could be interesting. I'm pretty familiar with the area. I don't know enough to know that. I don't know what the spread is on that, Faisal. Like what the profit margin is from 57 grand up to the ARV for that area. Like what would be the average retail value for that area? I don't recall that, but you can easily find that out. In any case, here's how you can print off their offer to purchase to make an offer. And with VA, you do not use your own forms from your board. You have to use the VA forms, okay? Seller's disclosure, radon, gas mold. What they're saying on these disclosures, if they actually do know a mold, they'll tell you what they're saying is they don't know anything about mold. They don't know anything about gas, radon gas. They're telling you got to check all that out yourself. That's what they're saying. I don't want to spend time going over these because you can download these and read them, right? Guide to using the VA contract and the home purchasing process. Those are videos you can watch. Anyway, so right there, you've got a couple properties right there close by. That's John Schwartz, Remax guy. All right, let's do home steps, then we'll jump to the Canadian tools. All right, so let's see what in New Jersey, Florida. Let's do California. I'm probably going to get a bunch here. So let's see, search. This is Freddie Mac, okay? Boy, they're way up in the middle of nowhere. Hey, Cedric, how'd you like to go all the way up past Eureka, almost to the Oregon state line? But Chico, that's not too far from Sacramento, a little bit further away from San Francisco. Let me just scroll down here. Boy, I know it's a long ways from home, Cedric, but man, Fresno, I was just there. Boy, Modesto, Fresno, down towards Bakersfield, right around here. That's Bakersfield, hot areas. And look at this, San Bernardino, Riverside, all these areas. Here's one way down in San Diego. So Cedric, within a little short drive from you, man, you've got a handful of properties that are Freddie Mac properties. And who was asking about the multi-units? I forget, was that Billy? Yeah, Billy, if actually that was Billy Moreau. In any case, you're more likely to find multi-units with Freddie Mac loans than you are the other loans. It's just what we discovered over the years. So let's just click on one of these. I like San Diego, so let's click on that. La Mesa, I taught a class there. Let's click on that, 254. Man, that's probably a condo. I was going to say, look at that for 254. So this is probably a condo. Yeah, 1 bathroom, 475 square feet condo. Let's go back and look at one of the ones up towards Riverside. Okay, let's take one closer in. This might be more like San Bernardino here. 300,000. Ooh, hey Cedric, that looks pretty sweet. 1299. Autumn wood. If you look at the pictures, now just check this out, guys. This is a California lawn. There's not a blade of grass in sight. So, in any case, nice looking street, man. I don't know. I might want to take a look. So, Cedric, take a look at these, buddy, and see if anything suits any of your clients' needs or for yourself personally. Okay. All right. Let's do this, guys. I want to jump over to. Let's see, which one was this? Oh, that was the VA one. Let me close that out and go to the Canadian site. So for all of our Canucks up there, foreclosure search.ca. Now this is a paid system. They do give you some freebies on here to entice you to get on, but everything I've ever read about this actually is legit. You can find out foreclosure information directly from your banks in Canada, but we can do that in the States too, to a degree. But here's some examples right here. Let's see. Let's find one for Toronto. There's Alberta. Here's one, Toronto. 265. Holy smokes. Let's click on that. I don't think it's going to let us click on that. Yeah, that's a teaser. So for all of my brothers and sisters up in Toronto, you can join this. It's not that expensive. $37 a month, $200 for the year. I've never used it, but from what I hear, it's worth it. They do all the heavy lifting for you. But it's a site where you can get foreclosures, access to foreclosures in your area, right? Now, having said that, I want to give you guys a real quick script you can use to go get properties directly from the source, okay? Hey, by the way, real quick, one more thing. If you go to myinvestmentservices.com, guys, and click on the members area, the next screen is you're going to be able to log into the silver level membership area. That's where I am right now. You see on the left-hand side all the tools available to you. Marketing techniques and docs. There's also this one here is the bottommost link you can click on. Analysis forms and calculators from training modules. In here is where they put the Canadian resources, which I'll show you right here. Here's all the tools that we use in Canada. Canada Stats, Canada Post, property tax data for everywhere, foreclosures, which is where we're now in court records, okay? Also is postal code targeting. So this is for you Canadians. For US folks, it's out there too in the link above this. So if you click on this link, all right, marketing techniques and docs, down here you're going to see important resources for gathering data, people, and places. Some are Canadian, but most are US, all right? There's all of those websites available to you for research. Most are free, some are paid services. Okay, let's go back to, where was I here? All right, I'm going to give you a script, guys. Many of you have seen this before or heard me give it to you. I just want to give it to you verbatim. The script I'm going to give you is something you can use to approach community banks. All right, community banks are generally smaller banks in the communities you live in. They're not national or international banks. They're small community banks. We like the ones that are what we call our portfolio lenders, which means they're not selling their mortgages. The reason that's important is all of these tools I just gave you tonight, all right, every one of them are using what we call asset managers. See, when you sell mortgages, when you get a mortgage and that bank sells that mortgage, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they're generally being underwritten, insured by HUD or underwritten by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. In the case of VA, of course, they're underwritten by VA. When those properties go into foreclosure, they have to use what's called asset managers to sell properties. Now you're going to the realtor, but the fact is the realtor got the deal from an asset manager who's representing VA or HUD or Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. Okay. If you ever want to do that business, I can teach it to you. It's very difficult to break that outer shell. It's easier to go with the small local banks, portfolio lenders who are community banks. Portfolio lenders don't sell their mortgages, so they don't have to use asset managers. So let me just let you catch up on that. With no asset manager, that means there's no referral fee. When you sell properties for these guys, you got to pay them a referral fee. When you get listings directly from community banks who are portfolio lenders, there's no asset manager, so there's no referral fee. Now they can choose to use an asset manager, they're just not required to. Okay, so in the bank branch, you're looking for the person in charge. Easy to do. It's going to say on their door, vice president, branch manager, whatever the case is. All right. Now, if you're in Canada, you generally have just a few banks anyways. In Canada, we don't have a lot of small local banks. We do have credit unions in Canada, but most of the banks are big. Scotia Bank, Toronto, Bank of Toronto. Any case, TD Bank. They're bigger banks, but the Canada guys, for all of you in the U.S. and Canada, we don't sell mortgages up there at all. It's illegal. You can't sell mortgages in Canada. So as a result, they have far fewer foreclosures, which is why in the big recession in the States that we had in the States and Canada, there was no recession. It wasn't triggered by all those defaults. In any case, in Canada, you can go to your local courthouse, get the filings from all the banks, Scotia Bank, TD Bank, so forth. See who they filed against, all right? And you can get the properties that they're foreclosing, and then you approach that bank directly. Well, whether you're in the States or in Canada, here's the script. Okay, so you guys ready? I'm going to give you the exact script to use to get properties from these entities, whether you're buying them for yourself or listing them to sell to other investors. Okay, first things first, always introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Gary Wilson, or your name, hi, I'm Cedric, I'm Dawn, I'm Gabriella. I'm a realtor in the area, okay? And by the way, I go over the script when I teach class. So some of you have recently had class, this should be fresh in your memory. So hi, I'm Gary Wilson, I'm a realtor in the area, and I have clients who are interested in properties just like yours, okay? You can use the term non-performing asset. Just be careful not to use the word foreclosure in a bank branch, okay? So our clients interested in properties just like yours, all right? Now you just raised their guard. You just told them you're a realtor. You got clients. You're like, okay, what's this about? You're going to lower the guard very quickly by saying this. Say, I just want to sell one. Now, obviously, we want to sell more than one, but one opens the door. Okay, all you're doing is opening the door. I just want to sell one. So let's do one together. That's you're basically called a presumption. You're being presumptive. Let's do one together. Okay. And when you like the results, okay, we use the word when because it's more powerful than if. And when you like the results, that's called an implication. Then perhaps we can do more. All right. And when you do that, you do a gesture where you open up your right hand, palm up, and basically transfer control of the conversation to that person. At that point, they got to respond. Now they're going to say no half the time. All right. But the other half of the time, you'll get some kind of response other than no. It might be a yes. It probably won't be. It'll probably be something like you've got to talk to JB. JB, welcome aboard, JB. By the way, from Southwest Florida. JB is the attorney on the board that handles these foreclosures. Whatever the case is, you're going to follow up with that, whoever that person is. So whatever that answer is, if it's not a no answer, I consider that the next step. I've got the door open. Now you always want to, please write this down. You always want to get these 5 things before you leave, so you know what the next step is. You want to get, who is the person I got to contact? What is their contact information? How do I contact them? Where are they? Where do I contact them? And basically who, what, where, when, how, right? So who are they? Where are they? How do I contact them? When do I contact them? Okay. And where. So always get that. So now you got your next step firmly established. All right. And you go out there and get yourself a listing if you're an agent, or get yourself a property to purchase if you're an investor. I will tell you guys, my personal experience with this has been, I got more positive responses when I approached them from the perspective of being an agent than I did as an investor. It's just something I noticed over the years. So in any case, let me check for questions here. Dana said Maine. Oh, Dana, you probably wanted me to type in Maine. Let's go. Let me get through this, Dana. If we have time, we'll go back to that. Let's see. Fassel, what is the name of the other company that you just checked New Jersey find on? Oh, shoot, Fassel, I've already closed those out. Actually, let me just go through this. So this is HUD was the first one. The next one was Home Steps. Okay. You know what it was, Fassel? It was the VRM. It was the VA one. So hang on, I'll get there in a second. So Home Steps was the next one. Okay. Next one is here it is, the VA one. So here's the Fassel. Here's the hang on one second. Here's the website. Oops, I jumped way too fast. Listings.vrmco.com. So that was the one I found, that property in New Jersey, in Berlin, Fassel. VRM, okay. Then Home Path. All right, hey guys, hang on one second. I'm kind of a nerd, so I've been to the Kennedy Space Center and Johnson Space Center. So I'm part of I'm like a space cadet. I get notifications from NASA on all these cool things, like the blue moon is coming up tomorrow night. So look for the blue moon tomorrow night, by the way, guys. Super blue moon hasn't happened since the 1820s or something like that. And it'll be exposed. I'll be able to see it from my airplane. I'll be flying from Miami to Phoenix tomorrow night. And if I get on the right side of the plane, I'll have a bird's eye view of the moon above the cloud cover. If you're on the East Coast, it's going to be right after sunset, okay? West Coast, it'll be later at night, around 11 o'clock, midnight, something like that. And again, sorry for the interlude there. So VRM, that's the VA one. Oops, I don't want to do that. And let me go back to the Canadian one real quick. I think that was the last of those. It was, all right. So the Canadian one is this right here. foreclosuresearch.ca/members/ well, you can just do that and you'll get the site. That's the Canadian one. Okay, so let's go back here to the questions. Mike says, me. Well, that was you, Mike. Yeah. Okay, sorry. All right. John Bothwell, JB's asking, are credit unions a good choice? Hey, John, my experience with credit unions is they do have foreclosures. They just don't have as many as or traditionally chartered banks. Credit unions have what they're nonprofit, obviously, and they have what are called members. And some of you on the call here are members of a credit union. What happens is they tend to keep them more closely to their vest. What I mean by that is you're not going to see them published a lot. If you're a member, sometimes they'll make them available to the other members of the credit union before they turn it over to a realtor. So you're just not going to see a lot of them. But if you do approach them, John, particularly if you're a credit union member, you'll probably have better luck, right? Okay. Daryl is asking, okay, hang on one second, Daryl. I list for Bayview, however, they had me doing BPOs first. Think banks may start you off that way. Yeah, generally a lot of the asset managers, Daryl, are starting you off doing BPOs. I generally don't like doing that. I knew a lot of brokers who got listings and never did a single BPO before they ever got a listing. They'll keep doing that as long as you'll keep doing them, because they're only going to pay you, $75, right, for a BPO. And they tell you it's just a short little report. It's usually not. It's usually it's almost like an appraisal, and they keep beating the death out of you to get it right. So Thomas says, cool photo. Yeah. Hey, Thomas, yeah, you will, if you go to Kennedy Space Center, you can sign up to get the notifications. You'll find out when all the rocket launches are. You can see them live. I got to see a live rocket launch in person on January the 7th, 2 days after my birthday from Cocoa Beach, Florida. And then all the SpaceX ones, most of them are televised live. You can just click on and go to the website and see them. Pretty awesome stuff, man. In any case, guys, we're a little bit over. I apologize. There's a whole other section I want to give you guys. It's just going to have to be on the 14th. So just remember next week, definitely register for next week. Anybody who knows who Rock Thomas is, you can Google him. The seats for next week's webinar are going to go fast. There's not many people we've had that bring that much wealth of experience and knowledge to these webinars. He's just an awesome guy and a great history. And I've gotten to know him personally. Both our sons are named Andrew. They're the same exact age. Rock and I are the same exact age. We are metabolic, is it metabolic age or I forget. There's a test they give you to see, regardless of your chronological age, what is your actual physical age. And both of ours, when we were 52 years old, which was 3 years ago, was 26. Our actual, in accordance to the medical field, we had the physical bodies of 26-year-olds. I don't know if that's the case now, but in any case, lots in common, both in real estate. It's literally like we were just brothers from another mother. And I've got hair, and he's completely bald, almost like my buddy Dana Truman. So another brother from another mother. So in any case, pretty smart dude. You definitely want to pay attention. And also, if you can remember, go ahead and register for the event in March, guys. According to Beverly, the seats started going pretty quickly here. I think because of that early bird special is ending, I think, tomorrow or at midnight tomorrow. It's still going to be a good deal. I mean, my gosh, you're getting 3 days of education for $500, and we're paying for lunch, cocktail hour Friday night, all kinds of good stuff there. So if you really wanted to take your business to the next level, network with other people who are, ahead of you, come on board, because this is where the rubber meets the road. At least it's been my experience. I love doing these things. I never walk away from these things without getting several tips that basically propel my business forward. So it's an awesome thing to participate in. So look for the emails from Beverly on that. And in the meantime, you guys have an awesome rest of the week. God bless you and your families. And we will see you on Monday, February 5th, excuse me. Okay, take care and God bless, guys. Bye-bye.